Hey folks, today I'm walking you through the absolute best OBS recording settings you need to implement right now, not just for clean footage, but crucially, to make sure that content is perfectly optimized for quick transformation into viral short clips later. Just a quick heads up before we dive in, these essential configuration tips apply universally across nearly all recording software, whether you use OBS, Streamlabs, or XSplit, because the core options are functionally the same, so don't panic if your user interface looks slightly different from mine. For this specific demonstration, I'm using the standard OBS Studio, but I assure you the underlying logic concerning resolution, frame rate, and encoding applies everywhere, so we'll break this down methodically, starting with the video tab settings before moving to the critical output and recording options. First up in the video tab is defining your base or canvas resolution, which should almost always mirror your primary monitor's resolution, so if you are running 1440p or 4K, set it to that native resolution to capture everything you see. The absolute key principle here is to avoid downscaling your canvas unless you have a specific necessary reason, because keeping it matched to your monitor ensures what you view is exactly what gets captured in the initial stream. Moving on to the more impactful setting, the output or scaled resolution dictates the final size of your recorded file, and for the vast majority of modern creators in today's landscape, 1080p is the undeniable sweet spot for quality and compatibility. Choosing 1080p means your footage is high quality, universally supported by all editing suites and social platforms, and remains incredibly efficient for quick turnaround editing tasks. If you are truly committed to super high-end production and absolutely need 1440p or 4K clips for archival purposes, then go for it, but be mentally prepared for your file sizes to skyrocket and your post-production and upload times to increase significantly. When looking at the downscale filter, OBS often defaults to bicubic, which is perfectly adequate for general use, but if you chase maximum crispness, you should consider setting it to Lanczos for a slightly sharper result. Honestly, the visual difference between those two filters might not be night and day for typical gameplay or talking head content, but Lanczos can certainly help if your recording involves a lot of fine text or complex UI elements, so pick the one that looks best to your eye. Frame rate is a massive factor in modern content consumption, and 60 frames per second remains the strongest recommendation for any gaming or fast motion video because it makes every movement look significantly smoother and more engaging to watch. Conversely, if you are recording inherently slow-paced content like deep dive interviews, audio podcasts, or methodical turn-based strategy games, then dropping down to 30 FPS is perfectly acceptable as a means to save considerable disk space. The primary driver for 60 FPS today is social media, as that higher frame rate gives your subsequent TikTok Reels or Shorts clips a much more modern, professional, and snappy feel that captures attention faster. Alright, let's switch over now to the output tab and navigate specifically to the recording subtab, making sure to flip your settings from simple to advanced mode if you're not already there so we can access the true power options. Before touching anything else, confirm your recording path is set to a logical and fast drive. I highly suggest creating a dedicated recordings folder on an internal SSD or a speedy external drive because manually hunting for lost footage is an unnecessary headache we all want to avoid. For the recording format, you must choose MP4. Yes, OBS throws up a warning about potential corruption if your system crashes mid-record, but MP4 is the universally most compatible format for virtually all editing software and social platforms today. The single biggest performance tip I can give for encoding is to select NVENC's new if you happen to have an NVIDIA graphics card, as this system offloads the entire heavy encoding process directly to the GPU. AMD users should utilize their hardware encoder equivalent, often called VCE or AMF, but if your desktop CPU is an absolute monster and you lack a decent modern GPU, the X264 CPU encoder will still yield great quality, just at a major performance cost. Regarding rate control for high-quality recordings, I strongly advocate for using CQP, which stands for Constant Quality Parameter, because it's remarkably consistent and simple to dial in compared to variable bitrate options. CQP operates on a quality scale, usually between 0 and 30, where lower numbers mean higher quality, but you should consciously avoid going much lower than 14 because the massive file size increase offers only marginal, often invisible, visual gains. A fantastic starting point that balances file size, performance, and visual fidelity is usually around a CQ level of 17, so use that number as your baseline, and then tweak it between 14 and 20 based on how your specific machine handles the load. For the keyframe interval, it is safest to leave this at 0 to allow for automatic configuration, unless you have a very specific workflow that demands a fixed interval, which is like rare for standard recording. Regarding the remaining settings, select the max quality preset if your hardware supports it, ensure the profile is set to high, keep look ahead turned off, enable psychovisual tuning, set GPU to 0, and finally, cap your B-frames at 2 for the best visual output without introducing strange artifacts. Now that we've covered the technical side, here is where it all connects back to growing your presence. The cleaner and more consistent your base recordings are, the infinitely easier it becomes to turn them into clips that actually perform well on social feeds. Submitting poor quality footage, think muddy frames, random stuttering, or inconsistent color actively causes clipping tools and automated editors to struggle mightily when trying to identify your best clips. This leads me directly to a powerful utility I've integrated into my own workflow lately called Vizard, and I want to be clear that I'm not pushing a hard sell here, but rather sharing a tool that genuinely simplifies my content repurposing process. Think of Vizard as an intelligent filter designed specifically to scan those long-form, high-quality recordings you just set up OBS to produce and automatically convert the most engaging segments into short, shareable clips. The absolute best part is that the output from Vizard respects the quality you input, meaning your meticulously captured 1080p60 source material translates directly into perfect 1080p60 output clips ready for immediate upload. The key features you will use most often include its advanced auto-editing capabilities for identifying viral highlights, the auto-schedule function so you don't have to manually upload every single piece of content, and a built-in content calendar to manage your entire publishing pipeline. This sophisticated system allows you to record a massive batch of content or a full stream, let Vizard scan it, and then come back to find an organized queue of recommended clips already waiting for your final approval. For creators who are juggling the immense demands of filming, editing, community management, and trying to maintain some semblance of a personal life, this level of automation is nothing short of a total game changer. I have personally trialed several other solutions including Descript, Capwing, and various one-off Clipper websites, and they are certainly adequate if you demand total manual control, but they often demand a hefty recurring price or significant hands-on editing time from you. More importantly, some of those other tools struggle to maintain accurate frame rates or implement awkward downscaling methods, which results in clips that look jarring or just plain off to the viewer, whereas Vizard excels at keeping the native quality intact. To ensure Vizard, or any AI editor for that matter, is performing at its peak efficiency, your recording setup must be clean. 1080p60, NVENC, MP4, CQP17, and the max quality preset are your essential ingredients. Providing the AI with clear, consistently rendered frames and a stable bitrate gives it the best possible data to analyze movement, facial expressions, and crucial punchlines so it can pinpoint the exact seconds that maximizes viral potential on platforms like TikTok. Another entirely practical consideration is audio consistency. Vizard is smart enough to detect peaks and reactions, but if your input audio is extremely quiet or suffers from major clipping, the system might completely miss the crucial moment, so use a quality microphone and normalize your levels. Once Vizard has pulled those potential clips, you move into the content calendar to perform the final human touch. Review the suggested caption, add relevant hashtags, and fine-tune the specific posting frequency you want for different channels. The auto-schedule feature truly shines here, as you can establish a consistent daily or weekly posting cadence and let the AI queue clips across all your active social platforms while you focus on creating your next long-form video. I must stress that you should not let Vizard become the only tool in your creative toolbox. You absolutely still need to dedicate time to those high-effort, handcrafted edits for your cornerstone, high-value content pieces. Instead, view this automated system as your essential clip factory, which efficiently surfaces the hidden gems from hours of raw footage, thereby freeing you up to polish those select few major pieces that require your unique creative signature. To summarize the non-negotiable recording settings, confirm your base canvas matches your monitor resolution, set the output scale to 1080p for most people, select 60 FPS for anything fast-moving, and ensure your encoder is NVENC if you have an NVIDIA card. Furthermore, set your rate control to CQP with a value around 17, use the max quality preset, keep profile high, look ahead off, psycho-visual tuning on, GPU 0, and B-frames at 2, and then absolutely run one test recording to verify smooth performance before you commit to a long session. The ultimate goal is reducing burnout by combining high-quality source recordings with a smart clipping tool like Vizard, which means you stop wasting time micromanaging the editing of every single short clip. By letting the AI consistently surface the best moments for short form, you reclaim valuable creative bandwidth to focus on the polished, long-form content that truly builds your brand authority. If you have specific questions about optimizing settings for an older laptop, a specific game, or perhaps a dedicated 4K workflow, please do not hesitate to drop a comment below, and I will gladly walk through those scenarios with you personally. That is everything you need to know to get those settings locked down, start recording superior footage, and let the content repurposing magic take hold. Finally, if you'd like to see a quick demonstration of Vizard pulling actual clips from a 1-hour video, tell me which type of content you create, like gaming, podcasting, or tutorials, and I will show you exactly how I would configure the system for that niche.